Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Walnut Lodge Yoga, Volant location. It's 8:30 Saturday morning, and this is the flow for week 8. Thank you all for being there. I know Lisa and Corey are there to cheer me onto my mat this morning. I hope you guys are doing well. I know there's other people out there. I tried this morning to get James to be the demonstrator, except he won't. It's pigeons this morning, and so, you know, I have my props out. You all know that I really hate pigeons, although they're really good for me. But I try as much as I can to get out of them, but here we are. We're at pigeons, and I know some of you guys out there are smiling about this. Yeah, so I guess just here we go before I run away and go drink another cup of coffee. All right, so get your props. You know, you're going to need a strap for sure. I need, you know, all kinds of things. Some of you guys don't need anything. All right, so coming back just into child pose extended, just for a couple of breaths. Reaching through the armpits. Settling in. And then out we go. Sphinx posture. Just going to warm up the shoulders a little bit. Drop your chest and head. Couple big inhales. Really kind of high in that upper back. Relax your spine. Just kind of get a read on that. The different times of day that you practice really make a difference in what your body feels like. I mean, we all know that practice is really good early in the morning. This is actually pretty late, if you're going to be real yogic about it. Except how I think about it is that if you can just at least get up and do this, you're really way ahead, even if it's not a 6 a.m. start. All right, inhale, push the spine up through the blades. Exhale, release. Drop your head. And again, up. Exhale. This is the easiest, gentlest way to warm up shoulders and spine. Inhale. Up. Start the circles. On the exhale, going down, pull your shoulders to your ears. Inhale. Go up, shoulder blades back to your waist. Exhale. Down, shoulders to the ears. Inhale. Push that mid back up. Exhale. Keep going. Own timing. Feel the circle of the shoulder blades. Feel the spine undulating, warming up, waking up. Every time your head drops, drop it. Just check to see if the back of your neck is not cooperating. Keep relaxing through your waist. And remember, if this is not feeling good, in that low back. Take those sit bones and reach them back and into the thighs. One more this direction, and then reverse. When I pull my shoulders up to my ears and push up, I can get lower into that thoracic spine. So it's I can almost feel the 4 or 5 inches above the waist, floating rib kind of thing, starting to open. Two more. And release this. Turn your head to your favorite side. Take your hands back. Check out your neck. Profile. And breathe. And come back center. Sphinx posture again, knees together. Press your spine up, lift your tailbone, and then tuck under. So we're in that half plank. Pull your pubic bone up to your waist. Press through your arms. Feel the sit bones. Just really focus on this. We need this a lot in this series. This posterior pelvic tilt. So hold on to it. And then tuck your toes and press back to the full plank. Push, roll the thighs in. Breathe. Keep pulling your stomach. Keep going. Keep pushing up. And knees down. Release the pelvis. And then just feel that extend through the spine. And then we're going to come down and do a neck stretch on the other side. Let the shoulders go. Breathe. use your breath to get as much movement as you can, really high in your shoulders and chest. Come back center. All right, last one. Last little warm up. Feet together, knees together. We're gonna do a full plank from Sphinx, but then we're gonna go into side plank. So if you don't want to do the full plank, just put your knees down. All right, press your spine up, pick your pelvis up, tuck your tailbone under. Pull that pubic bone up towards your chest. Tuck your toes. Make sure you have the waist. Pull the pubic bone and feel that tailbone. Stretch the legs to straight. Push from your hands to your elbows to your shoulders. Take that line all the way down through the sit bones, through the backs of your legs. And then side plank. Right side. Breathe. Keep lifting the waist, reaching the chest. Couple more. Now inhale, exhale, roll nice and slow. Lift your waist up and other side. Big inhale, excuse me. Exhale, lift your waist. Feel that plank again. Knees down. This time push back again to an extended child pose. Just relaxing in the hip sockets. Releasing the pelvis forward off the legs. Breathe. And slide out onto your stomach. All right. So we're gonna reach our right arm back and grab our left foot. Half bow. So reach back, grab your foot, arm to the side. First thing with all of these, press your pubic bone down reach your sit bones into the backs of your legs so that you feel like your waist is supported. You're not trying to take the curve out completely. As a matter of fact, that's almost impossible. So you're just using that action, going towards that posterior tilt to save your back if you need it. Everybody needs it. Some of us need it more than others. So then lift up the right leg, lift up your hand, push into your foot. I can't get very high, especially this early in the morning. My quad hip flexor, especially on this side, stop me. But we're just inhaling up with the chest up and forward, and then pushing that foot. Inhale, exhale, you can release a little bit. Keep it going. Couple more. Last one. Inhale, push. Exhale, release. Now press yourself up, and your left leg is going to come forward into pigeon. So that's parallel front leg. The best that you can manage here. Creep this right leg back. And then elbows down. Try to keep your pelvis level. So my left sit bone is way up off the ground. That's just how it's going to be. So I'm going to kind of fight with this. Not with the hip. I'm going to just make sure I'm pushing my spine long. And I'm just going to let that hip do what it's going to do. Will it open? Yeah, it'll open. Not that much though. Now remember, with all of this, the knee is the stopping point. If you can't get your leg parallel to the front, you don't. You don't try to force that hip down. That's why I have all these props. Tuck your back toe, and now push from your elbows through that heel. Pick your stomach up, and then just feel your right hip socket open. Keep square. Now just kind of play with this. Push into your left knee. And as you push into your left knee, your pelvis, your whole body will move to the left. The outside line of your leg is just going to pull to the left. Sometimes when we work this right leg, you start sinking on that side. And then put your knee down, but creep it back a little bit if you can, and then come up. All right, so take that right sit bone, push it down into the back of that right leg. Now, a couple different hand positions here. This is number one. Number two is here. And number three will be taking your arms to the side and interlacing them behind you. Behind. I'm not going to do that one. I'm just going to stay right here. And I'm going to push my chest forward. I'm going to reach that right sit bone down, and I'm going to just let that line go forward. The line of the pubic bone chest forward. Breathe. One more big inhale. And now we're going to release that. Creep that back leg, that right leg in. And then come to a child pose. And then I always like to rock my hip off of my heel until it hits the ground. This is the leg that was behind. I kind of move the other leg to the side a bit, and then I'm trying to get my sternum over my knee, my kneecap, this way. Trying to get as flat as I can. And what this does is this encourages, a really deep flexion in your hip. And when we get to the more advanced movements, you need this more and more when you have that back leg extended for a longer period of time. There's always opposite in yoga, so this is the opposite of extension. But what kind of happens sometimes is this gets stuck. You can't go down. So what's stuck is the back of your hip. So we're just going to relax here for a couple more breaths. And then as you exhale, just try to release the ancillary muscles in the torso, in your stomach, in your shoulders, in your neck. Just a couple more breaths. You stay there. I'm going to go change my shirt. I'll be right back. Jump on the mat, James. Come back to center and slide out. Other side. Left arm reaches back and grabs your right foot. Start by pressing the sit bones into the back of your legs. Pull your stomach. Lift that left leg. Lift your arm in your chest. Push your foot into your... And start working it. Inhale, chest forward. Push the foot. Exhale, release. One more. Inhale. Exhale, release. Press back. Right leg, pigeon. Send that leg back. So I call this the preparation position. This is the only one that you want to try to get that shin really parallel. So I'm pretty high up off the ground. My shin is parallel. This is all the lower I can go. So for the other ones, I let this modify a bit, but not this one, because you can get a good position. So what if you're up really high? I feel the stretch where it needs to be. Back of my right hip, through the low back, front of that left thigh and into that left socket. So just stay here and breathe. Keep testing, because that hip starts to release. As it starts to release, you can go down. If you feel something in your knee, go back up. Now tuck your back toe under. Stretch your left leg to straight. Push a little bit into that right knee and feel your pelvis. You can see my pelvis moving to the right. Then put that left knee down, creep it back a little bit if you can, and come up. So hands here, or hands here, or hands out to the side and reach back and interlace. Make sure that left knee is back as far as it can be. Now we're just going to breathe the chest forward. And as you're working forward, push into this right leg a little bit, see what happens to your hip. Pull your stomach, feel that left sit bone going down. There's all of these adjustments to be made. That's why we hold things. It takes a long time to figure things out. Now, if I could just go right into this with no problems, I probably wouldn't have figured any of these things out. But pigeons have always been hard, but at one point I could put my foot to my head. So I know what the final king pigeon feels like. I know how to get there. And I know what's stopping me now. So all those pieces of information are really good. Inhale, exhale, release yourself. Pull that back knee in. Sit back, child pose. And then again, rocking off, rocking the sit bone off. Stay as close to the heel as you can. Square your chest up over that front leg, and then just down you go. Now, some of you don't need this. You could just be in a regular child pose. At first, sometimes my hip doesn't want to let go the whole way. So I like to go into these until I can get that to happen. And then slowly come back to center. And we're gonna slide back out onto our stomach. All right, make sure to move your props because we're gonna do a full bow and then we're gonna roll to the sides. So reach back, grab your feet. Get a good grip. Press your sit bones back and down and into your thighs. Pull your stomach. First, just a regular bow. Push. Keep your thighs parallel. So don't let them open. They don't have to be squeezing together. If you'd like to have your knees right across from your hip sockets, just work it parallel. Chest forward, feet push. Exhale, take your sit bones, push them into the backs of your legs, pull your pubic bone towards your chest. That will keep your low back long. One more. Now we're going to inhale and roll to our right side. That shoulder's tucked under. Try to relax that top thigh. Breathe. Inhale, roll center and other side. Big inhale, center, and release. Press back Child pose. No rocking off this time. Just both hips even. Relax down. Now, we're going to do a modified yoga mudra. So just from right here, we're going to put our head down, put our hands kind of behind our head, almost like we're going into a headstand. Lift our hips up and just allow that neck to go onto a little bit of a stretch. So I'm going to come down to here, pull under. So while you're here, pull your jaw into your throat and then push down into your elbows a little bit. Take the weight off and just work on the rotation of the head on the top of the neck. And feel that line from the back of the skull into your upper back. I'm up here because it's impossible to talk in that position. So I'm going to go back down into that. We're going to stay there another minute, just working that. Don't push it. Just find a place where you can kind of let go of a little bit more of that tension. And then use your hands to come up. Coming to sitting. Reach your hands back. And put them on your heels. And we're going to press into a camel. If you can't do that, walk your hands back behind you and just push your pelvis up. That's kind of what I'm going to do at first. So camel or half camel. You can use if we're in the studio, I'd get bolsters for everybody. Just tuck your tailbone under here. Feel your inner thighs squeezing. Push your pelvis up. It's kind of cool. Keep breathing, camel. Come on up. And hands down. Tuck your toes. Press back to a down dog. Knees nice and soft, just stretching through the heels. And come on down and grab a strap. And maybe a drink. All right, so same half bows, overhand grip. So our right hand is going to reach back and grab our left foot. Two different ways to do this. One is make a small loop. You just work your hand down the strap. The other way is to make a big loop, and then you work your leg a little bit differently because you won't be able to change the length. Now, a long time ago, I could just grab my foot. I can't do that anymore, but this overhand grip is really useful to get the lat stretch that you need for the king pigeon. So even if you don't have that ability to reach back and grab your foot and do this half bow with your hand instead of a strap, you still can work your way towards it. And if you never get there, that's okay, because we're still stretching through the lat and we're trying to work our back so that we're working a bit of a posterior tilt and trying to allow that, it'll be the left hip, to open into an extension. All right, so your right hand is going to go back. Keep your arm parallel. Push. So my elbow is bent. I'm just using the inhale to push that elbow up. Using that leg also to push that, to pull the elbow up. And the rest of me is just working. My whole back line is working. Sit bones are driving into the backs of your legs. I'm trying to straighten that left knee. Keep feeling that armpit open. Now I want you to straighten your arm. I have to slide out the strap. All right? Now work it the same. Use your foot to just push that leg open. Totally active. Everything is pushing out of you. One more. Push and release. Press back. Pigeon preparation. So that's that left knee bent. And again, this is the preparation. So get that shin as parallel as you can, right? And then work that leg back. Elbows down. Now we're going to come up to where we were. Now bend your back leg. Reach back with your right arm. Grab a hold. And I just pull the heel into your hip. It's just quad stretch. You can't even see my leg in the side camera. That's okay. Maybe James switch to the front camera. So for those of you that can get your heel in, maybe you flip your hand over, fingers forward, and keep pushing. But this is just a little bit of a quad stretch with force. Not a big deal. All right, now let go of that. Put that right elbow down. Now you're going to roll your right thigh onto your foot. So my foot is right underneath my hip socket. Then I'm going to reach back with my left hand, grab the same foot. Now I'm on a little bit of a twist. Relax your shoulder and let your ribs go. Just breathe through that line, that lower line a little bit. And then lift your chest up. Now for some people, they don't feel anything here. I don't feel much on this side, but on the other side, where that hip flexor is restricted, it's a big one. So here, take the lower ribs, that would be the right ribs, and push those ribs forward now, and push away from your shoulder. Try to get as much spiral as you can in your upper back. Breathe. Try to let go of everything else but this shoulder now. And then let go of your leg. Roll yourself back to the center, all right? Now, we're gonna take our left sit bone and roll it to the floor. And then you're gonna lay your armpit on your knee. And we're just gonna go into a really deep flexion on that hip, but in this rotated out position. It should feel good. If you can't get your shoulder on your leg, you can always put your shoulder on the floor. So the idea here is just to let go of everything. Feels good. And then gather yourself, rolling back through that center line. Now roll your right hip down to the ground. Your shin is parallel. That right heel is going to hit you above the pubic bone if it can, and then roll onto your right shoulder and push your top shoulder, that left shoulder, back with your left hand. And then again, just relax. The only thing that's really working on me is my left arm is pushing back a little bit. And then we're going to roll back to the center. And we're gonna tuck our back toe and we're gonna straighten our legs and go back into a down dog. And this is just for that left knee. Drop your pelvis, pull the knees up, reach through the heels, and then come on down. Now that same leg is going to be bent. I'm going to change my orientation here. And James will get me with the front camera on this one. Because I started with the leg that's not going to face the camera here. So I'm going to roll my sit bone down. Now, this is horrible for me. All right. So I have to use a strap. But I love this one, actually, because it's the best internal hip rotation stretch that I know, or it works the best for me. And I have no internal hip rotation. All right. So I'm going to grab that right foot. I have a strap around it because I eventually want to get it into the crook of my elbow. And I'm just going to hang out here until my hip decides to do something. I don't know, we might be here for 10 minutes. For other people, they'll have this foot up to their armpit, right? And then you're going to take the sole of your left foot and try to put your left foot on your right foot. So then what you have is internal rotation on the right leg, external rotation on the left leg. It's nice to try to grab the outside of your foot with your left hand, then you get a stretch through the left side of your back, but you got to go in pieces. And slowly just let that leg release. And then stretch that leg behind you. Pigeon preparation. All right. And then we're just gonna go all the way down just for a couple of breaths here, not long. And then we're gonna come back up and we're gonna bend that back knee. Now here's where some of us might need some support on this left side. All right, so we're gonna bend the back knee. we're gonna reach back and grab it with our hand, or both hands if you can. I'm not gonna be able to do that. So I have all these modifications, all right? But we'll be here for, you know, a little while. So if you put something underneath your left sit bone, you'll have a little bit of push, because what you want to do on these pigeons here is you want to make sure that you ground something, and that something is that left sit bone in the top of your thigh. You'd like to have that right thigh flat on the ground. That's what we're going for. So I'm going to come up on this block. I'm pushing down into my left sit bone, which is on a pillow, and I'm going to just reach back and grab my foot. Actually, I'm going to reach back and grab my foot with my other hand to keep me from twisting so much. So this is not something to emulate, right? This is not very good. This is the best I can do right now. What you'd like to have is both hands back on this foot, and that right thigh flat on the ground, and your left sit bone on something. Breathe. And release that. Pull that back leg in. And then we're going to come to a child pose and rock off leg. So to the right. Squash it in. That left leg can go to straight, so you can open that hip. We don't really need another down dog there. And over you go. And we're going to come up. Work yourself back to center. I'm getting a drink. And then we're going to slide out and do that whole sequence on the other side. So that will be your left hand reaching back and grabbing your right leg. So I created this pigeon series 1991. I've tweaked it all of these years. And so what's nice about having things like this is that you can constantly monitor the changes that you go through. Some of them not so pleasant, like I can't do most of it. But then, you know, when you injure yourself or you have some issues, I'm having some hip issues and hip flexor issues. My hip is better today than it's been. So I'm pretty happy that I can get actually where I can get, which is better than what I did the last time. So those are the kind of things that you work for. Just little changes, trying to understand what, you know, why those happen. Gives you a lot of information. All right, so your left arm is parallel. Push your foot, lift your left leg, drive your sit bones, right arm up, and then take your chest through that armpit. Just work that parallel line, trying to straighten your back leg. That back leg straightening is what takes the chest up. So use your chest, breath, shoulder blades going down, leg pushing. Keep breathing. All right, now straighten your arm. Slide out the strap or bend the knee or both and keep going. Okay, one more big inhale and release. Press back. Right leg. Pigeon prep. Creep that left leg back. Breathe. Push into that knee. Sometimes I forget that. But then you feel the square coming back. All right. Up. Bend your left leg, reach back and grab it with your hand. And pull into your hip. Release that. Take that left elbow down. So that right foot is underneath my thigh, almost on my hip socket. Reach back, grab with your other arm first. Let that left shoulder go. Take a couple of breath into the lower ribs on that left side. And then push away and rotate. Take the left ribs and rotate up. And then just breathe there. And let go. Come back through the center. And then we're going to take our sit bone, rock off to the right. Take your right armpit over that knee. Chest is on that thigh and just let go. Breathe. Roll. Center. And then left shoulder down. Right hand. Push that shoulder up. Like I said, for some people, these aren't big stretches. For me, they really help with my knee. Especially this one. It gets you ready for lotus. And then come up and out of that. But remember that right leg, because that's kind of our prep position for that next one, for those of you that can get that second leg into lotus. So tuck that left toe under and press back. Stretch your knees. Press into the heels. And remember too, especially after your knees have been bent that long, straighten them and then pull your quads up. And then stretch again. So stretch the heels with the knees slightly bent. And then go to the straight position and then pull the knee up as you reach through. And come down. All right, so that right leg was the front leg. All right, so rebend, be there that long. Take that right sit bone to the ground. All right, just enough. We're just there long enough to get that back thigh stretched behind us. And now reach and grab your foot. Strappy time. And here, pulling that left hip trying to get your foot up to your armpit. Trying to grab the outside of your shin with your right hand. So this is my struggle, but then some of you are going to take that right leg, put it up on your hip in a half lotus and try to get this foot to it. You're just going to breathe here. And release that. All right, gonna roll. Back to center. Creep that leg back. Turn that front leg out as much as you can. So we're going into that variation of the king pigeon. All right, so you're square, your thighs down. You're gonna push yourself up as high as you can, right? Bend your back leg if you can. Reach back and grab it with your hand. I'm using my opposite one. And then grab your hand if you can. Slide that left thigh down on the ground as much as you can. Push off of your right sit bone. Be as square as you can. Work it. I always think about Maureen here, Maureen Walsh. Just a couple more breaths. Pushing that chest as high as you can. I'm just really working on the square of my hips. And release. Pull that back leg in. Sit back, child pose. And then rock off to the right. Let that back leg open. And chest down on top of this leg. Just square up and release. Yeah, come on back to square. Hips are starting to feel pretty good. All right, grab your strap. This is the last bit. Make a loop. Both feet, both hands. Full bow, overhand grip. If you're lucky enough, strong enough, able enough to not use the strap, don't use it. All right, so walk your hands back the rope behind your head. And push up. Breathe. All right, straighten your arms. This is where it's nice to have the big loop. Keep pushing out. One more, and release. Press back. Child pose. And roll up. Hands back on your feet. Press up. Camel. Or this half camel. Inner thighs are working. Push up. All right, coming down. Right leg will be front. Pigeon. So this is the pigeon with the overhand grip. So if you're using a strap, It's going to go around your left leg. Square yourself up with that front leg as best as you can. And remember here, it's all about what your knee feels like. All right. Grab a hold of your strap, pull your foot to your head, and go. Release. Come down. Tuck your back toe under. And then press to a down dog. And then coming down, left leg front, loop your right foot, slide that leg back, grab your strap, and go. Push into your knee, square your pelvis, reach that right side rib forward. So many things to work on. It's hard to talk and do these. What's nice about the wraps, the bindings, the straps, the holdings, is that you can just hold with your hand and you can let everything go. For me, except the sit bones, keeping my back long. But I'm breathing my chest up, trying to let that hip just open. If you could let go of things, everything would be a lot easier. Couple more. Inhale, exhale, release. Come on down, tuck that right toe under and press back down dog. Push through your hands, push through your heels. And then we're going to walk our hands and our feet together. And then just forward bend. Whatever forward bend you have. And breathe. Slowly, just walk yourself out onto your mat. Roll over onto your back. Corpse position and rest. Big inhale. Roll to your right side. Press yourself up. So that was Pigeon Land, everybody. I feel good. I always feel good when it's done. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your work. It's going to be a beautiful day today. Enjoy the sunshine. Miss you all. Namaste.